Welcome back, guys. Or if you're new to my channel, this is Automotive Anonymous, and today I gotta bring you a quick side-by-side comparison between the brand new 2026 7th generation Subaru Outback versus the 2025 6th generation, which is very similar to the Outback Wilderness that I used to own. So today we're going to talk about the differences, the similarities, and a lot of interesting things that I have noticed about this brand new generation after driving it around for the day, after finishing my full formal review, as well as an impromptu bonus review. So you guys are welcome to search for those on my channel. Otherwise, let's get right into the similarities and the differences between this new and old generation, and if it's worth spending a little bit more on this Japanese build example. And if you guys get anything out of this video today, please consider liking it, comment your thoughts and opinions below, subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, huge thanks to the Twin Falls Subaru in Southern Idaho. They sell below MSRP, they'll ship anywhere in the country, and with that said, let's dive right in. I have to say that the power plants between these two generations are very similar. This one specifically is a Touring XT, so it does have the turbo FA24 engine, and it's a very good one. The power numbers are the same as last year, 260 horse, 277 torque, and the layout of the engine and the periphery, everything else, looks the exact same as it would if that was the turbo trim level as well. You will notice though that you still have the internal hood scoop to cool down the intercooler, and now the badge lifts with the hood. It's one piece. Does look like maybe you can unscrew that thing if you really want to, but you still have a prop rod, and now the badge lifts up, so you have a little bit of a valley in the hood of the Subaru 2026 model year, whereas this one is the 2.5 liter boxer. So this does make 182 horsepower. The new generation, the new version, only makes 180 because the engine is slightly tweaked compared to this one, although they feel the exact same driving it, and the new one, if anything, is probably more reliable because it no longer has the thermal control valve hidden under the intake manifold plenum. So the new one should have a little bit of a space right there, and an old school thermostat, which is good. Otherwise, the periphery, everything else looks basically the exact same as the new model year. And when these are side by side next to each other, you can see that they look to be basically the exact same size. Sure, the new one maybe is a little bit less curvy, a little bit less round, but honestly, I actually think this still looks kind of like a wagon, kind of like a lifted version of a Hyundai Santa Fe. I actually think the new one looks pretty good, even on these 19-inch touring wheels, having kind of the weird fender arches, you know, the ventilation right there, the little accent piece that is River Rock Pearl right there behind the C-pillar. Honestly, it's kind of interesting, but this still looks very much like a Subaru, very much like an Outback, and if for no other reason, because it has all the black plastic cladding. But it should have a lot of the same features as the outgoing one, especially the Touring XT that it competes against. And a lot of the things that these do share the same as the outgoing generation is the gas tank is still 18.5 gallons. It's still located on the passenger side. The base model still can tow 2,700 pounds. The turbo can still tow 3,500 pounds. It still has about 8.7 inches of ground clearance. And honestly, there's just a lot of similarities between these two vehicles. Sure, the front fascia looks a lot different, and I've seen a few other colors of this new generation now because Twin Falls Subaru had a few that have already sold. But honestly, I actually think it looks good. It is a little bit more bold, a little bit more aggressive, but the hood height, the overall width, it's very similar to the outgoing model. You still have very good visibility when you're driving it because the hood still slopes down about the same angle. The windows are also about the same height. I don't think the ground we're standing on and parked on is very level, but you have better roof rails, the solid type. Unfortunately, they don't swivel out like those, which is kind of handy, but when you have actual crossbars on that, they can handle more weight. You still have the 3-camera Gen 4 eyesight system, and I do have to say the safety features on this new one, unfortunately, do not seem to be necessarily better than the outgoing one, because the outgoing one was updated recently, and it is a very good system, but the clarity of the 360-degree camera, way better. The backup camera, way better. If anything, I'm sure it does work better, but the lane keep assist, the adaptive cruise seems to work about the same. I think the headlights are basically the same in today's lighting. It could be due to the shadows. If anything, the old Outback might look a little bit brighter, but on camera, I guess it looks about the same in person. Maybe the old one is a little bit better. Also, the fog lights, maybe a little bit lower, but again, I think it's just due to how I'm parked. If anything, though, those ones look a little bit brighter than those ones. Anyways, the side mirrors, I think, might actually be a tiny bit bigger on the new generation. All I know is driving it around, you have very good visibility. These look very similar along their side profile. And when we come to the back, Honestly, guys, I've always liked the 6th generation Outback, the taillights. I think the LEDs, they look really nice. But I have to give it to this new generation. At least in Riv Rock Pearl, this actually looks really good. The Outback stamped in, or not stamped in, but like badged on. I'm sure you could easily hair dryer those off if you really don't want them. But I think they actually look really good. They don't look cheap. Just make sure that they don't fall off down the road. And then Subaru stamped into the bumper. Looks like, is this functional aero? Ooh, it is. I can see some air through the plastic. Also, the plastic cladding looks to be a little bit higher quality on this one too. And then you have basically a yardstick built into the LED lights, which look really cool. Honestly, I think the back of the new one looks substantially better than the old one, but comment below what your thoughts are. They both have a power liftgate at this price point. They both have the buttons to lock and lower or just to lower, but you can see that they have switched what side they are on. And then this has a few additional little places to store stuff, either to clip stuff on, to hang stuff, even grocery bags or trash bags, in addition to the basic stuff, as well as the Harman Kardon speakers over here built in. You also have a temporary spare tire underneath the floor of both of these vehicles, and this being a little bit wider, a little bit longer, a full 16 feet in length, and now has about 34 cubic feet of room, and when you drop the second row, it's about 76. Compared to over here, it looks basically the exact same, but it's a little bit less, a couple cubic feet less, and when you drop the seats, it's a couple of cubic feet less. But honestly, they look very similar, and the back of this one actually almost looks like the cargo area goes deeper than the back of this one, but I know that's kind of a, an illusion because of the privacy shade. So one of the things that I unfortunately have found out about this Outback is what we're going to talk about next. It's not the entryway. The entryway is still very nice. The materials are very nice. Granted, this is nearly a $50,000 example, but you still have a lot of room, and the seats lay basically flat on both of these vehicles. But this new generation, it now has the strap, and the best I can tell, this does not let you extend it back. So you can't recline any more than the set position. You can't set it up anymore. That's the only position it'll latch, and that's quite unfortunate. But still, at 5'11", I sit behind myself comfortably. These leather seats are very high quality. The Hobby Lobby stitching looks great. The vents, the heated outboard seats, the plugins, the armrest, the window visibility, it's large. Now we need to get into the front and talk about the difference in the screens. Let's have just a quick refresher on what the old interior trim looks like. It's not bad. Honestly, I really don't mind it. Leather seat, power options, memory seats, the shifter, the leather-wrapped heated steering wheel, wood trim on the dash, driver mitigation system, 11.6-inch screen. Reasonably quick. It's faster than it's ever been in the past. And then the basic controls. I have to close the door, though, for this. You really don't get any new information through the new generation. But we're going to hop out of this, and I'm going to show you what the new one looks like. But before we do, let's take a minute to look at the backup camera. The clarity, or the lack thereof. Oh, but also check out that awesome storage for the passenger above the glove box and on the side of the transmission tunnel. Something that we're not going to find the exact same in the new generation. And this new one is even built in Japan because Subaru swapped the Forester and the Outback's assembly plants. So instead of being built in Lafayette, Indiana, it's now built in Japan. And it shows the materials, the quality, it all feels really good. And there's no longer 7 different colors on the door panel. This is much more uniform in design. Sure, there's a bunch of different trim pieces fitted together, but you even have carpet on the door pocket. So stuff isn't going to be jangling around against the plastic, causing a lot of excessive noise. Harman Kardon speakers, it just looks more high-end how the grooves are. You also have kind of this tire track design, rubberized mat, pedals, basically a lot of the same things that you'll find on the other one. Power memory seats, they're also ventilated on this one. You have the sunroof up top. And when you get inside here, this is what it looks like now. So ultimately, we can go through info. You're not going to get a lot of new information, like I mentioned. You can also go through here. Again, not a lot of new information. It's basically just a digital version of what you had before. The steering wheel looks almost identical. The paddle shifters work about the same as they did before. Maybe a tiny bit quicker. It kind of just depends on your driving, what speed you're going, how the engine responds, everything like that. And then the screen, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. The driver mitigation system does seem to flash and beep at you a little bit faster, but it seems to do a good job. If anything, I think this vehicle is more insulated despite having about the same amount of glass. You have the digital mirror, looks really good. And here's one of the best features, physical HVAC controls. They're responsive, they work quickly. I don't think the ventilated seats work very well, but the heated ones sure do. You also have some plugins, a wireless charger, and one of my favorite features is not only that you have a physical button for auto start stop and traction control, but just like the Outback Wilderness, you can have the cameras running at low speeds. They work really good. The trajectory lines do move. You can even see the wheels turning on camera, and the clarity is just so much better than it's ever been. So ultimately, guys, I would love to hear your thoughts and your opinions, and if you want to watch my other Outback videos, check them out. Keep in mind, this still feels like the Love Goggles. It feels very new to me. I still have my initial impressions that I'm basically thinking out loud as I film this video, because all I am is just a random person with a camera who got access to a couple vehicles for the day. So comment your thoughts and opinions below. Test drive them for yourself. Always test drive the competition. Make a very informed decision, because vehicles cost way too darn much to, make an improper decision. But what do you guys think of the new Outback? I actually like it a lot. I can't say the same with every new paint color, but River Rock Pearl on this new front fascia, I actually think it looks really good. The split headline design doesn't bother me so much, and honestly, it might be a little bit more rectangular, but it looks like a very impressive Outback, and ultimately it drives about the same as the outgoing one. The turbo model today did a 6.9 true seconds 0 to 60. I imagine the regular engine that's non-turboed would probably do in the mid-9s like they usually do, something like that in my area, maybe 9 seconds flat. But anyways, guys, comment your thoughts and opinions below, like this video, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.